Yes, a very good morning and how you doing? Welcome to Smart Means Business. I'm Anju Barija. It's the 24th of August. It's a Thursday. Definitely, it's quite another fresh day. And of course, grateful that we've been able to actually make it to this day. And well, that means it's the time to make a difference in this nation. Well, I'm with Masika Time as we're going to be driving your business through all the way. Masu, good morning. How are you?
Well, good morning, Andrew. Good morning, whoever has just tuned into Smart Men's Business. And of course, this is your daily Kickstarter. Today is Thursday, and of course, the week is wrapping up. People are loosening up. Teachers are already a little bit of relaxed because the students are, away. Some of the students are away, and they're maybe probably going to pick up their report cards on Friday tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So definitely for the education system, they're a bit relaxed. Maybe for university freshers. There's a talk that has been going on about freshmen coming in, and of course the expectations, the bazaars that are coming in. Everyone is expecting the freshers, but of course you realize, by the way, some of the students haven't yet decided. Much as the courses have been set up for them.
Decided in terms of?
Decided on what course they should take.
Career guidance. That's why
that's why there is career guidance. Yeah. But I must say, really, by the time you choose, then you are sure. There were instances of people I saw when I was doing my course, they did change.
They changed.
Why are you changing in mid-semester?
I think you can change in mid-semester as long as it's still the first semester, because you're still trying to explore and see where your abilities really lie.
Okay.
It's understandable, actually.
It's understandable, really. Yeah. I feel like if you made the choice, then that's it. To me,
not really. I mean, sometimes sometimes people are not sure. It's like you could be like, for example, the people I've seen who used to do PEM, and before you know it, the next semester they're doing MEG, so they drop the physics. They feel like, let me add geography, drop physics, and probably I'll be able to proceed that way.
Anyway, as most universities start off the semester, that is August. Is it August?
August,
they have different intakes. So
different universities, and with private universities.
But most of the universities are actually having a freshman this month, and of course, expectations are high. The money is still fresh. People, someone was telling me, because where I stay, there are a lot of campus students, and they're like, the students are not coming around to buy, maybe because they still have money, so expenditure, my people. So spend wisely, because the semester has just begun. Choose the right friends. Choose the right friends. Create that environment where you can relate with your lecturers, because at the end of the day, they determine how you end up with, if you know your weaknesses, then we talk about weaknesses. If you know your weakness, then you can find a way of solving it. If I know I am a student that usually lags behind, so that means I have to be in a group of students I've spotted out that can push me, or maybe a lecturer or lecturers I can go to for consultation, because I've known my weakness. I'm a struggling student, so definitely if I'm to finish the 3 years or 4 years set for me, I have to create an environment for me to excel.
Absolutely. Very true. And also getting to understand that actually what you're doing at the university, it should not be like today we have this whole aspect that I'm starting to be employed. It's high time you thought about how can you make your course of business out at the end of the day, because you have the time right now to get to understand how the industry where you are operating in works. You get to know who are the people to get in touch with, and know the right connections, the right business networks, because at least the most successful people that I know in business are those that are actually doing something they are really knowledgeable about. It's not something the result, and there it is just the beginning point for you there. So embrace it and move on. Quite lots of discussions are going to be coming up onto the show, and of course something from the Uganda Revenue Authority. Yesterday they released their performance report, and we shall be drilling that into further. And just to give you a glimpse, it's more like they are coming to fulfill their target, because they're given a target of about 24 trillion Ugandan shillings. And yeah, so far it's not bad, and great thanks to the different methods, for example the A-phrase, you know, the digital stamps. They're really working out quite very well as key elements when it comes to tracking down transactions which were being carried out. But anyway, I still to remind you on that notice that the Markets on the Zebra platform are also going to be back today at exactly 8:15 a.m. and to participate it's quite simple. *292# is the code to be a part of these markets. And when you dial this code, you'll be in position to actually buy bonds and securities for a fee of just 15,000 Ugandan shillings now from 8:15 up to 3:15 p.m. This is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when these markets cannot be accessed. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make money. Something which I believe personally that it's quite key and instrumental when it comes to your financial growth and development as an individual. Zaba made this a reality for you, and you gotta step out and do this, and you know, improve your financial security, financial stability as somebody that is chasing a career and as somebody that is an entrepreneur. That's why it simply says my money, my future, and Altex East Africa tells you, well, you gotta do something new for yourself. Remember, it is 2023. Now, to kickstart off with our morning call of coffee, Uganda coffee exports rise by 12%. And this is quite positive, and great thanks to the different initiatives carried out by government to make sure that, I mean, we have that aspect of value addition in terms of that. Hope it's really producing the results, the long-awaited results as a result of that. Now, coffee exports in July 2023 amounted to, that is 645,000, that is 852, that is 60 kilo bags, you know, and this was worth 104.9 million US dollars. And yes, that's about 391 billion Ugandan shillings, according to the figures from the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Okay, and now of course this comprised of about 586,871 bags of Robusta valued at 92.5 million US dollars. That is about 344 billion Ugandan shillings, and 58,961 that is of Arabica valued at 12.4 million US dollars. That's about 46 billion Ugandan shillings. And now this was an increase of 12.16%, of course, and 25.85% in quantity and value respectively. That is compared to the same month last year. At least there is quite an improvement. 12% is quite a favorable increase. Now, but type Robusta coffee increased by 4% and 29.79%, that is in quantity and value respectively, while Arabica exports increased, that is by 20.33% and 2.59% when it comes to the quantity, you know, that was produced and the value respectively. Of course, when you compare this to the same month last year, yeah, so you can really see. Now, if we are to take a look at the calendar year rise, we see that coffee exports in 12 months, in a 12 months period, totaled to 5.83, that is million bags, worth 867.5 million US dollars. That is compared to 6.13 million bags, worth that is 862.28 million US dollars. That is the previous year. You know, we are talking about the same month, that is the previous year. Now, of course, for many years we know that coffee has been Uganda's biggest export earner until 2018. When it was overtaken, that is by gold. And but data from the Bank of Uganda indicates that in March alone, the country exported gold worth, that is $268 million, while in April, gold exports stood at 200 million US dollars. Well, so you can see gold replacing coffee in terms of that, but of course, still just to give you a notice that despite gold being the biggest shareholder right now when it comes to the export value and earnings, well, coffee is also not performing bad as compared to the previous year vis-a-vis this year, and definitely we anticipate the coming statistics are going to be really indicating quite a huge increase. With this huge partnership, recently we had a summit to do with coffee. We had leaders from Ethiopia. I remember Ethiopia was part of it. Kenya was part of it. Tanzania was part of it. And apart from Rwanda, I think, and Burundi, from the East African nation, seeing how best we can, put together the different factors of production in the different nations, and for the common good of value addition on coffee. Yes, so that is it for Uganda and the coffee, Ugandan coffee, and let us hope for the best results coming the coming quarter as they're being released in terms of the quantity. But of course, we need to also ask ourselves a question: what has led to this increase? What has led to this increase? Should we attribute it to the presidential? When the president has always been emphasizing value addition, you see that when you adding value, that means per kilogram that is exported, you actually earn much more. About an increase of about 45 to 50%. As compared to exporting it in a raw format where you get something not really enough, and before we know it, it comes back to this country with value added expensive. That means we are releasing more foreign currency out there.
Well, I must say, recently we talked about the exports in Uganda that are taking the toll, and we had cereals, we had beans, we had maize.
Maize was part of them.
Yes, we had maize, we had coffee, and of course gold.
Gold, yeah.
You see, the thing about gold is just that maybe people are not certain on where, people are not in the know about the gold that we have. But seeing this amount of money that we get from gold, 999 billion Ugandan shillings out of gold. Imagine,
a lot of money.
Imagine if we invested in other minerals as well. Because we do not only have gold, we have many minerals. So imagine, we couldn't be struggling with what we are now, with the whole situation of the World Bank. We could be surviving. That is why I posed the question last time: can the Western world survive
without African resources?
Yes, without African resources, because we have the minerals.
We do.
They need us. So imagine we have it all to ourselves. They all come to us.
They all come to us, and we can dictate the price, but only that can happen when we are one. If we are in fragmentations, well, some people will take sides, some people will side with the West, and they call it betrayal because they want to get favors from that. But if you have no one to please, actually, and you care about you, I'll always like Donald Trump. I think he's one of the greatest presidents the United States of America has had. I don't care, the criticism is out there on the media and all that.
I really like his personality.
But America first. Everything America first. And actually, you will notice that during his time, for those of you that follow up stocks, there was an improvement in the New York Stock Exchange market. And not so many people really wanted to admit this, but it happened. Well, that is it for our morning call. Now let's switch our eyes and take a look at what's making headlines into the press. I got the new vision with me here, and we have the Daily Monitor.
And of course, starting off with the Daily Monitor, this is for the travelers. Wow, it's been a while since I traveled, but then seeing the costs, the fares, the tax fares are rising as bus strikes enter 30th day. Did you know that the buses are striking, or you're just boarding without knowing what's going on? And whichever few you mumble in your cheeks, but there is a strike that is ongoing. And of course, the taxi operators have quickly taken advantage of the unfolding transport emergency to double, in some cases triple, their fares, leaving those who cannot afford the new rate stuck. Well, seeing the prices here, when you recently, before the strike, Gulu, for those that are heading to Gulu, the price was at 35,000. Now he's at 50,000. Wow, that's an increase of 15,000. Those going to Mbarara, from 30,000 to to 90,000. 90,000. That's triple. That's triple the value that has been leading to the western part of Uganda. Then those going to Fort Portal, at least from 40,000 to 45,000, that's an increase of 5,000. Then Soroti, 35,000 to now 40,000. Slightly. Then from Lerira, 35,000 to 50,000 Ugandan shillings. That's in Ugandan shillings. And on Kitugum, from 40,000, still 40,000. But what surprised me is Mbarara. 90,000 Ugandan shillings. 90. That's triple of the normal amount. And of course, if still in the daily monitor, NSSF, IOTA's ambitious 50 trillion plan. Now this is the new boss of NSSF, and he's coming out to give his his plan. You know, when you're new, the expectations, you have plans in there for yourself and of course for the company. And now NDA warns on Viagra-laced products. Viagra is a very strong product and medicines, very strong. So it's recommended it is under prescription. You have to take it under prescription.
Under prescription. Wow.
And of course, Airtel fined 700 million shillings for copyright breach. And of course, farmers stuck with cut after new narcotics law. Wow, okay. That is the marijuana. That's what marijuana now stuck with it. They do not know what to do with it. Because if you sell it, you'll be caught. If you consume it, you'll be caught. So that's business. But of course, I'm very sure people are going to be doing it low-key on the law.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, regardless of how you put restrictions on people, they'll always come up with ways of hiding themselves.
People are law breakers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, of course, as we head into the new vision here, I came across something quite interesting. But before I get to that, I see something here to do with BRICS leaders root for solidarity. There is a huge group of leaders here.
Actually, I think Putin wasn't able to come because of the criminal court and all that.
Yeah, he's a little bit sanctioned to move all around the world. Of course, we see different presidents in here. And then something here which is quite shocking, but of course it's not yet confirmed yet. The Wagner chief expected dead in a plane crash. You remember the Wagner mercenaries that were said to have taken on Russia? It's a private military company which is contracted by government. And of course, majority who anticipate that it's been carrying out operations in Africa related to that. So the Wagner boss is on the list of passengers on a plane that crashed. That is according to the Russian agencies. But of course, we shall need to be sure how that really went all through. Now, the Youth Skilling Project creates over 3,000 jobs there, the Youth Skilling Project. So you can really see how people have been impacted lives when it comes to financial inclusivity, and and income generation. Probably as a youth out there, this could be something as a key inspiration for you to be a part, and you can actually make a living for yourself. All right, that is it for our press briefing. Well, this time around, as we head to that is the traffic updates, and it's exactly 20 minutes past 7. We take a look at those images which are coming in from Fairway traffic lights. As you can actually see, I mean, coming all the way through to the different routes, it seems like it's a bit calm. I think holidays are explaining that, and that really shows you how the schools operating is a great business, not only to the school owners, but also to the beneficiaries. It's a huge chain of businesses that actually do benefit from that. So you find that there's not really so much It's quite light, as you can really see. You can see the John Babia route down in there, coming in all the way, connecting to the Nakasero route. And according to the look of things, it seems fine. It seems fine. But of course, like I say, you gotta be patient sometimes to really be in position to, because there is jam that can be a little bit static, I mean in motion, but you get this wrong perception about it, and it all seems like it's actually not moving. You see, still the vehicles coming in from Wandegea, that is the Mlago roundabout, coming all the way to here. It is still very okay. I'm seeing a huge number of vehicles, taxis that are coming in from the route adjacent to the Seziwa, but it's still okay. Literally, it's an empty space in there. So, but surprisingly, in the later hours of the day, now in such moments, you find that in the morning hours it's light, but as we approach 10 a.m. midday, it's going to get much more, a little congested and much more worse. So if you plan to move to a certain area, I think this would be the best time for you to start making movement. And the advantage in here, unlike before when the schools were still in operation, you have to really wake up so early to be in position to reach where you're heading. But now, for such a moment, right now is very okay for you to reach any place where you're heading, and you'll reach perfectly well. The route adjacent to the Seziwa route, that one exactly, actually that is sometimes a shortcut if you don't want to get to the Mlago jam. The roundabout is normally inflated with jam, so you can connect to the Seziwa route there, and you'll be able to link up to Wandegea and proceed very well without any disturbance, as you can really see. A few passengers walking in here by, and this is a place I'm seeing majority of the vehicles in here actually private owned vehicles, not so many of them like not so many public, in other words, as you can see there. Yes, this is the Kafu Road, which of course links with the Seziwa route, and they head to the different destinations. Okay, that is the traffic moment for you there, as you can see. So for the people that are staying in the areas and you're likely to actually link up to this, to the fairway traffic lights, well, it's going to be quite okay. Seziwa route is okay. That one is a shortcut still to take you to the city center. You pass through Nakasero and, well, you're good to go. You'll be good to go to any other destination. Even the Kafu route adjacent to that is also okay for shortcuts. But for such a moment like this, you don't need to make too much shortcuts. A main road is okay. A main route is fine. It's fine for you to reach, because there is no need for that. Yeah, just seeing vehicles coming in from the Yusuf Lule route heading to Wandegea, from Nile Avenue Hill, and it's not going to take long. Just in a few minutes, in a few while, they'll be actually set free and head to the different destinations. So there is no wasting fuel, no fuel costs, being in jam, and the engine is on. I understand it's also a little bit consuming when it comes to fuel consumption of the vehicle. That is not the case today, so you can actually try it out, because like you don't know, somebody said, I remember somebody wrote something and he said taxi drivers would rather use a 1 hour shortcut avoiding a 30-minute jam. So see what is the way forward for you. Well, that is it for our traffic updates this morning. It's exactly 25 minutes past 7. Well, just to remind you that the markets on the Zebra platform are on, and kindly participate in them anytime. Actually, they will be on in the later minutes run. That is at 8:15 a.m. And they will run up to 3:15 p.m. Now you can participate by dialing *92# on your mobile phone, and here you will be given options where you will be in actual position to select to buy bonds and securities. But remember, before you get into buying the bonds and securities, you need to register with your national identification number, or what we call as the name, and also your card number in that process, and you'll be able to proceed with this activity. And this is regardless of any location, of any place you are at, as long as you dial *292#. The rest is definitely going to be history, as you'll be on your journey to financial freedom. That's why Zabo says, my money, my future. And Altax East Africa tells you, well, you gotta do something new for yourself. It is 2023. Well, now let's get into a short break, and of course we shall be returning with our Caribbean East Africa and what's making news headlines. That is onto the international scene away from East Africa, and we shall see how vital that information is for Uganda and East Africa at the same time. Stick around. Good morning.